Well, this intense heat is not just uncomfortable, it could be downright dangerous.
Yeah, News 12 Long Island's Aaron Colton live in Port Washington, continuing our coverage on the heat wave. You're by a pool, huh?
By a pool, and that should be the advice for everyone today, to be by water. We are on day one of this heat wave that's going to last through the end of the week into the weekend. Degrees 90 or higher, possibly feeling like even 100 in some spots, and the best advice is to be by water. If you can't be by the beach where it's a little windier, a little cooler, you want to be by a pool, and that's where we are. Manorhaven Park Pool here in Port Washington, and today I'm talking with two very important lifeguards who have an important job this weekend to keep people cool. What kind of signs do you look for when you are up on the, in the chair looking for people to stay hydrated?
Well, the most important thing that you have to look for is for people who are looking dizzy or tiredness, stuff like that. And the most important thing to do is to stay hydrated throughout the day, drink a lot of water, jump in the pool intermittently throughout the day.
Right, we were talking about that, how people come to the pool, they lay out in the sun, they want to get a tan. But on weekends and days like this, when the heat is so hot, you're going to want to get in the water at some point, right?
Yeah, it's really important not to lay out all day. It's more important to go into the pool and try to stay in the shade. I know everyone wants to get their tan and everything, but it's more important to keep yourself healthy.
I mean, you can get a tan in the pool too, yeah. Don't get us wrong. Yeah. Again, when you're up here, do you know it's an important job for you, even though it's just a typical summer day? It's not a typical summer day. It's the beginning of a heat wave.
Right. Well, it gets very hot, humid, right. And very hot, humid.
And people may not realize the fact that they could be getting dizzy. They could be getting, not feeling the way they should feel.
Right.
Okay. Well, we're going to be at the Manorhaven Park Pool in Port Washington all morning long. If you didn't realize, behind me I have the Manorhaven Red Devils swim team. Hey there, guys. We're going to be talking with them. They're going to be getting in the pool, and we're just going to give tips on how to stay cool throughout this heat wave. And we are live in Port Washington this morning. Aaron Colton, News 12 Long Island. Carol, Danielle.
All right, Aaron, Mom reminds you the UV index is high also today, so with all that tanning, some sunblock, sunscreen, guys, really, you'll get burned on top of it all. Well, we just saw the shuttle come home, so that warms your heart. You walk outside, the rest of you gets warm because this intense heat is not just uncomfortable. Actually, today it could be dangerous.
That's right. We have to keep that in mind. And News 12 Long Island's Aaron Colton live in Port Washington, continuing our coverage on the heat and how to stay safe during days like this.
Hey there, Danielle. Hey, Carol. Yeah, it's what everyone's talking about today, the heat. Day one of this heat wave, temperatures in the 90s for the next couple of days, almost seeming like 100 in some spots. The best advice for today, try to stay by water. If you can't get to the beach, get to a pool. We're at Manorhaven Park Pool in Port Washington, and we're talking to some very important people who are going to be very important this weekend, lifeguards. And this could cause illnesses, these heat. So what are things to watch out for?
The first thing to look out for is heat cramps, and that's when you have spasms in your legs and abdomen muscles.
Okay, heat cramps. Next.
Heat exhaustion. That's when you're excessively thirsty and you're sweating a lot and you'll have pale skin.
Okay, what's next?
And then the most severe is heat stroke, and that's when your skin becomes red hot and you're profusely sweating and vomiting may occur.
Okay, all things that you guys will be watching out for this weekend, today, Friday. Okay, thanks, lifeguards. Now we're going to have some tips for everyone. If you want to stay cool this next coming days with all this heat, we have some tips. Who's my first tip?
You should stay in the pool because it's a great way to be hydrated, and you can also have fun at the same time.
Oh, that's a great one. Okay, what's the next tip?
You should drink lots and lots of water to help you stay hydrated.
Okay, good one. What's next?
Just stay in the shade all day.
Stay in the shade. Great advice. What's next?
You should stay in the AC so that you don't get too hot, and you'll be nice and cool.
Great advice. All good tips for everyone to keep cool. Of course, these are brought to you by the Manorhaven Red Devils swim team, which I did compete against when I was younger, Forest City Flyers right here. But we're going to be at the pool all day long, telling people how to keep cool, giving advice, and just how to survive this heat wave. We're in day one of it, folks. We're live in Port Washington this morning. Aaron Colton, News 12 Long Island. Carol, Danielle.
Town Parkway Pool, Parkway, home of champions. Parkway's the best. Just so you know, Aaron.
Just saying.
Don't get confused. So how are we going to beat the heat?
News 12 Long Island's Aaron Colton live in the Port Washington area of Manorhaven at the pool there. Good morning.
Hey there. Good morning, ladies. The best way to beat the heat these next 3 days when it's going to be in the 90s, possibly feeling like 100 at some spots, is just be by water. If you can't get to the beach, come on down to a pool. We're at Manorhaven Park Pool here in Port Washington. Take a look. We have the Manorhaven Park swim team on hand this morning. They wanted to stay cool, so they came on down to spend some time with us. But right now we're going to talk about an important topic, seniors in the heat. Senior citizens trying to beat the heat. Joining me now is Paula Ewell, Deputy Commissioner of the town of North Hempstead.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. Seniors, what do they have to watch out for in days like this?
Seniors, it's very, very important when the heat is high like this is to first think about their physical health.
Right.
The most important issue is getting enough water. And you always want to drink before you're thirsty. That's very, very important. And in a common sense way, we all need to have healthy habits. So you want to eat fruit, vegetables, drink a lot of water, take care of yourself. We then want to take a look at your environment. We want to make sure you're wearing loose clothing, light clothing, you have lights dimmed a little bit, you have your air conditioning working, and making sure your environment is okay. We then, at Project Independence, one of our main goals is that we reach out and make sure our neighbors are safe. So we look to the community to check in on a neighbor, make sure they may have air conditioning, or call and check in. And there's a lot of really very practical tips seniors have to be aware of.
And it's stuff you have to think about. You can't just go about like today is a normal day. You have to think about what you do, what you eat, what you drink.
Right. And you go through the same thing. First, you're okay. My physical self is good. And then you're going to think about your environment. If you're in, you really should not be outside between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Right.
Skip all the gardening, the strenuous activities. Take it easy. And it's all about balance. It's things we do every day, but it's very, very important. So if you are a senior or and close to a senior, keep an eye on each other. That's most important.
Paula, thank you so much for those tips. Again, seniors, watch out today. Again, if you don't have to be outside, don't be outside. Stay in the air conditioning. And if you're not a senior, check in on the seniors you know to make sure they're doing okay. Give them a call. We're going to have tips throughout the morning long. Keep it to News 12 Long Island for all those tips on how to beat the heat during this 3-day heat wave that we have coming up. We're live in Port Washington. Erin Colton, News 12 Long Island. Carol, Danielle.
All right, you're very cool, Erin. Thanks. Well, this intense heat is not just uncomfortable. Really, you have to be aware it could be dangerous.
News 12 Long Island's Erin Colton, live in Port Washington, continuing our coverage on the heat. Getting a little noisy out there, a little rowdy. Everybody having fun, huh, Erin?
Everyone's having fun, but whether you love the heat or hate it, you definitely have to watch out for today, especially when we're in a heat wave. This is day 1 of a heat wave. 90-degree temperatures or higher, feeling like 100 in some spots. And that's why we're at the Manorhaven Park Pool here in Port Washington, talking to people about trying to keep cool in all of this heat. Joining me right now is Commissioner of Public Safety, Andy DeMartin. What do people have to watch out for today in this heat?
Well, people have to, at all times, limit their activities, hydrate properly, and just stay out of the heat. Try and stay indoors if you can, remain in your air conditioning, and do your best to stay cool at all times.
The problem that I think most people have is they just go about days like this as a normal day. It's not a normal day. Even if you're just a person who even does well in the heat, you have to take precaution.
Absolutely, and I don't think it's not only it's going to be a normal day, it's going to be a streak of abnormal days.
Right.
And precautions are necessary. You don't want to get yourself in a compromising situation where the heat's overtaken or overwhelmed you.
Right. Pets. You have to watch out for your pets. They can suffer in this heat as well.
Absolutely, it's one of those things you have to be concerned about. One trick I could give you is if you wet a cool blanket, put it under a shady tree. Keeps your dogs cool. Freeze some water bottles. They make great chew toys.
And you guys, the town of North Hempstead will be available for anyone who does need help in the heat, cooling centers, things like that.
Absolutely. John Kamen has given us the okay to open up our cooling centers. We're going to be monitoring the situation. If there's brownouts or blackouts, we'll be opening them up strategically throughout the town.
And call 311 if you need any help?
Absolutely. Call 311. We have a wealth of information on how to stay cool this summer. Okay,
those are the tips. Joining me this morning, if you didn't already know, the Manorhaven Park swim team. Hey there, guys. Hi. All right, what's the best tip today? Are you going to stay cool? Yeah! All right, we're going to be with these guys all morning long, giving everyone tips on how to beat the heat. Day 1 of the heat wave, but we're all set for it. We're live in Port Washington. Erin Colton, News 12 Long Island. Danielle, Carol.
You know what? One bad flip turn and they're drinking some of that pool water. That's hydrating. Thanks, Erin. All right, so how can you beat the heat? Well, we've got a little help for you.
That's right. News 12 Long Island's Erin Colton live in Port Washington right now. Poolside for Erin.
And that's right, poolside is where people should want to be today. I know everyone can't get there, but you do want to stay by water. If you can't be in the air conditioning, you want to stay by water. If you can't get to the beach, you want to be at a pool. We're at Manorhaven Park Pool here in the town of North Hempstead in Port Washington. And it's a place where we've been cooling off all morning long. I'm here with the Manorhaven Park swim team. Hey there, guys. Hi. And we are talking about how today is just not a normal day. So you can't think about it as a normal day. What do you have to watch out for today?
Well, the first thing that you have to look out for are heat cramps, and that happens when you have muscle spasms in your leg and abdomen.
Okay. Lifeguards, very important people for this weekend, for the later part of this week, watching out for people to not get those heat cramps. Next,
you should look out for heat exhaustion. You'll be very dizzy and excessively thirsty.
And it's just, again, it's not a normal day, so if you're laying out, you do want to try to dip in the pool when you can.
Yeah, you definitely want to get water, dip in the pool. Good things to do while you're in the sun.
Okay, what's next?
The most severe is heat stroke, and that's when your skin turns red hot or you're profusely sweating and vomiting can occur.
And for those people who really they may think they're doing good by coming to the pool, but they're just laying out. Yeah. They can't do that today.
Definitely not. They definitely need to go into the water and definitely should try to be in the shade at points. So.
Okay, now the Manorhaven Park swim team, they're going to give us some tips. Hey there, Sal, what's your tip?
Jump in the pool.
Okay, that's a good one. What's next?
Wear a lot of sunblock.
Okay, I forgot you over here.
Don't stay out in the sun too long. Stay in the shade.
Good, that's a good one. What's next?
Drink a lot of water so you can stay hydrated.
I like that. A lot of water. All right, what's next?
Stay in the AC so you can avoid the heat wave.
Good. Okay, awesome tips by the Manorhaven Park swim team. Again, if you want to stay by the water, that's the best spot to be. The beach, the pool, or if you can't do that, if you're stuck at work, just try to stay in that AC. Again, day one of the heat wave. We'll be here all morning long giving everyone some tips. We're live in Port Washington this morning. Erin Colton, News 12 Long Island. Danielle, Carol.
Okay, thanks very much, Erin. Erin's not in the pool yet.
Today is not a normal day. Today is day one of the heat wave. Everyone has to watch out, especially those who are elderly and young children.
Lifeguards in Port Washington already getting the word out. We're in for another day of oppressive heat and humidity on Long Island.
The index could feel like it's hotter than 100 degrees today, and we won't get any relief for days. Good morning. Thanks for joining us here at News 12 Long Island. It's a great way to keep cool in the heat. Hit the pool.
That is right. News 12 Long Island's Erin Colton is in Port Washington with some safe ways to beat the heat. Hi, Erin.
Hey there, Jackie. Well, that's all anyone's talking about today and probably for the next couple of days. The intense heat, temperatures in the 90s, and will be for the next couple of days. And that's right. The best advice, drink water and be by the water. Behind me is the Manorhaven Park swim team. They're getting their cool on by being in the pool all morning long, giving us tips on how Long Islanders can stay cool. But this half hour, we're going to talk about the people we need to focus on in the heat, the seniors. And joining me now is Paula Ewell, Deputy Commissioner of the town of North Hempstead. What do senior citizens have to watch out for on days like this?
Well, there's some very specific things they need to do. Supervisor came and brought Project Independence to the town of North Hempstead to help seniors age in place and stay in their homes safely. So first, we always want to focus on the physical, to make sure you drink before you're thirsty, you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, light, loose clothing, and try your best to stay indoors for most of the day. You need to look at your environment. So your air conditioning's on and working well. Shouldn't be going outside. You can draw your shades, keep your lights down low, just things in general that make us comfortable. And then we look to our community and we want to make a special effort to look out for our neighbors and other people that may not be able to have air conditioning or get themselves out to get food or special things. So you call and check in on each other, and we look out for each other.
Definitely not a normal day, and people should realize that, especially senior citizens. You have to think about the day and what it's going to bring and make sure that you go on from there and do those things that you just mentioned.
Yes, and a lot of it has to do with planning ahead and making sure you have everything you need. You may want to garden. It's beautiful out. It looks beautiful. Don't go out and do your gardening today, or do it very early, or do it late in the evening. But it's really a lot of common sense, and it's a good time to practice good health and eating and drinking and focusing on what's best for you.
Paula, thank you so much. And it's a good time to practice today, because today is only day one of the heat wave. We have 2 more days left of this, and possibly more when we go on to the weekend. So everyone just wants to keep an eye on those tips. Think about what you're doing today. Again, drink water, be by the water. If you can't be by the water, stay in the AC. We're in Port Washington today. Erin Colton, News 12 Long Island. Jackie?
Good advice, Erin. Thank you. Well, now to our other top story, the oppressive and dangerous heat.
News 12 Long Island's Aaron Colton is in Port Washington and has ways that we can stay safe and keep cool at the same time. Hey, Aaron.
Hey there, Danielle. Well, if you can't be in the air conditioning all day long, the lesson to live by in this heat wave is drink water or be by the water. If you can't be by the beach, come on down here to a pool like Manorhaven Pool in Port Washington. People can't treat this day like a normal day. You have to watch out for some signs of that heat. Join me now, the lifeguards of Manorhaven Pool. What's something you have to watch out for?
Well, the first sign that you should be aware of are heat cramps, and that happens when you have muscle spasms in your leg and your abdomen.
And that may come on suddenly. You may not know what's going to happen.
Right.
All right, next tip. Ooh.
Heat exhaustion, that is when you get really dizzy and you'll start being really thirsty.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and then the most severe is heat stroke, and that's when your skin gets red or you're profusely sweating, and also vomiting can occur.
And I mean, for people who just come to the pool to lay out and get that tan, you can't think about that today. You have to think about getting intermittent by laying on the sun.
Exactly. Definitely we need some shade, some water. Don't just concern yourself about your tanning. Go in the water, you get tan too there.
Right, you can get tan in the water too. Okay, so for some tips for the everyday person trying to beat the heat, let's get to the Manorhaven swim team here, who I've been hanging with all day long. Sal, what's your tip?
Jump in the pool and stay cool.
That's a good one. What's yours?
Stay in the AC so you don't get too hot.
Okay.
Stay in the shade.
That's a good one. Find a nice tree.
Drink lots and lots of water so you can stay hydrated.
That's a very good one. Again, if you can't drink water, you want to be by the water. But here, the Manorhaven Park swim team, along with its lifeguards, they've been hanging out by the pool all morning long, and they are people who have to be at the pool all day long. So if you're by the pool, again, stay hydrated, drink the water, or get in the water. And I think the Manorhaven Park pool team has a surprise for their coach there. All right, he's in the water. He's staying cool. Again, be careful out there. It's going to be a hot one. We're in Port Washington today. Aaron Colton, News 12 Long Island. We're all going in.
Oh, gosh, Aaron, I hope they don't push you in. What a smart